Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'll wait a little bit for people to show up if they do show up. If not, I'll still answer your questions. I have some questions that are from comments in my videos this week and in my DMs. And, I started this because a lot of people ask the same questions all the time. So I know it can be helpful to a lot of people to answer them in a platform like this. So let me pull them up. Here we are. Okay. So we have one about co-parenting with a narcissist. And that was from the video I did. It was a comment about co-parenting from a narcissist. When the narcissist always come back, which narcissists always do. Narcissists always circle back, especially if they know that you're starting to do better and feel better and move on. Then they're like, why don't I have control over this person anymore? So we don't want to get hooked back in. And then the other one's about OCD. And then the other one is about, and this is one of my favorite topics, the power of the mind with any circumstance in life. But this one was specifically about just physical ailments or just dealing with something for a long time. So I will get into all of those things. And then on Sunday, we did an act. Every Sunday is Soothing Sundays, and it's to get ready for the week. If you do have any Sunday scaries, we use Soothing Sundays to get rid of that. And we always start with an activation, a neurological reprogramming activation. And the one on Sunday was just holding in your mind something that brings up a lot of fear, something that brings up something negative in your mind, and then holding it and allowing all of those things to release, allowing them to go, and then deciding to have a new relationship with that thing that would bring up fear. And really, fear is a way to control you. So we don't want the inner critic to have control over that way, because it will keep us small and in a place that we don't want to be. And then a week goes by and a month goes by and we're in the same place, or the fear got bigger and we're frustrated. So that activation that we did on Sunday was to reprogram the brain around that. So all of that goes away. So welcome. I'm here to answer your questions about mental health, reprogramming your brain, and toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse, anything like that. I specialize in personality disorders. And I used to work for the federal government as a personality profiler. So I know a lot about personalities and psychology. I'm a therapist. So I'm here to help you. And I'll start with some of the questions that I got in the comments. And the first one was about co-parenting with a narcissist, and what do I do if I have to co-parent with them? Especially, this person's in the early stages of a breakup with their narcissistic partner. And the answer is to keep things, I just say, as beige as possible, because what they still, even though you're breaking up with them or you're ending a long-term, sorry, it's kind of loud. Even though you're ending a long-term relationship, the narcissist still wants to know that they can trigger you, that they have a hold on you in some type of way. And it's really difficult to not take it personally, because it feels so personal and you're getting triggered and everything. Meantime, they're don't really even care about you. They just want to know that they can trigger you, because in their mind, that means you still care. And they will take any form of energy that you're giving towards them. The worst thing that you can do to a narcissist or any of the personality disorders is not give them your energy and truly not care. And if you're not at the place where you're not completely, like, you're still getting triggered and you do care, in front of them, act like you don't, especially if you're co-parenting. If it's a work situation, I just want you to be as beige and boring as possible. So you do what needs to get done, and that's it. Also, with co-parenting, I always think it's a good idea to go on one of those platforms. They're called like Talking Parent or My Parent Wizard. They're different ones that you set up, and like all the communication goes through there. So nothing can be misconstrued and the lawyers can see everything, because it could get very convoluted. So I would definitely protect yourself in that way. Um, but when we completely ignore the narcissist and don't give them energy in that way, they eventually lose interest and find new supply. Now, will they circle back a year, 5 years, 10 years later? Yeah, because they want to see if they could still, they're using you as supply. If you can always keep in the forefront of your mind that narcissists view you as supply and nothing, not like a real human being, you are a supply mechanism to either offload your shame, their shame and guilt onto you. That's why you exist, or you exist for them to receive praise and admiration. That's the only reason like you exist to a narcissist. And so if you can just release that and be like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I don't care. And it gets easier and easier. But when you are detaching from a narcissist or any type of toxic person, it can be difficult at first. But then you create that new neural pathway and it gets a lot easier. So just remember at all times, just be so boring around them. You can vent to your friends. You could get triggered, like if you're working with a therapist or something, talk to them, but never show your cards in that way. Never let them know that you're triggered in that way. And then after a while, it will really become second nature and you will associate that narcissist and all toxic people with like something you're not interested in. And then the great part is, I love when my clients get to this point, you just stop attracting it. Just stop attracting it altogether. And that's really great. Joseph says, hi, everybody. Hi, Joseph. How are you? Tim, all these lives that you've been on of mine, have you done any of the practices or exercises that I gave you? Because what we don't do up in here is the same thing all the time. So we don't come in and we don't like complain about the same shit all the time. I'm here for you guys, making videos to help you guys improve and help you guys accelerate your growth in it. Because a lot of times, and this is why I don't practice like real traditional therapy, is because it doesn't have to take a long time. I promise you, it doesn't have to take a long time to get where you want to go. And a lot of traditional therapy is centered around insurance and billing people. So if you could bill people for longer, like it's not a good model, in my opinion. So I want you to like accelerate as fast as possible, because then you get to that goal and then you're not in a survival mode anymore, you're in a thriving mode, and then you could do this and you could expand and you could do that goal, and then it's like, oh my god, I have more money than I ever had, like and I love when my clients get to that point. They're like, I never thought I could be this happy, I never thought I'd have this much money, I never thought my health would be this amazing. That is what I want you saying to me, not the same shit every week. I comment to make you angry. Have you done any homework? Exactly. I give you guys a lot of really good, I mean, I'm just here helping you out and giving you guys a lot of neurological reprogramming techniques, a lot of things that you guys could do, a lot of things that, you know, are offered in courses and everything. And I'm just sharing them with you. And then I'm come back on here to help you stay accountable, because a lot of times we don't need to be told something, it needs to be repeated to us, and we need accountability. So I'm holding this space for you guys to teach you these things, to help you, to answer your specific questions, and also hold you accountable, because it's nice to be somewhere where twice a week, which I come on twice a week as of now, and be like, hey, did you do that thing? How was it? Tell me about it. Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? You know, like, because we're here to grow and evolve. How would you like to improve if your dog, you could celebrate your dog's life, because, you know, that's the circle of life. But Tim, like, you always say the same thing. It's always like something, right? And I don't even know if this stuff is true. So I don't want to like give it a lot of, you know, I don't know. I feel like you come on here to get attention in this. I'm just saying, I'm very blunt. Okay. I feel like you come on here to get attention in this way. And I'm not going to sit here for an hour and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like my people are people that are like, hey, I'm here and I want to get here. So you can have something sad happen to you. I mean, things like, and I'll share this with you a little bit later. Like, I had a really rocky start to the day and I'm like, no, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to turn it around. And so, you know, people pass away, dogs pass away, that sucks. But we also have to like transmute that energy and not use yet another excuse. But every time I offer a suggestion, you have an excuse. Tim, I'm just calling you out. I comment to make you angry. What we don't want to do in here, not in my house. Yeah, exactly. Not in here. You go somewhere else to complain. And, you know, the complaining people, they're all the same. 5 years later, like a month later, like I want you to be in a better place, whatever that is for you, all the time. Petras, ha. I actually stumbled into your live, LOL. And yes, quality over quantity, working smarter and not harder, right? And that's what it's about. And like, um, so a lot of people, this is reminding me, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm grinding and I'm hustling, I'm doing all this stuff. And they're doing that to make themselves feel better, make themselves look busy, and it doesn't accomplish as much. If you can concentrate your energy and work smarter and harder, and you can get a lot more done, because the whole like I'm so busy thing, that's actually a form of under earning. And under earning is a psychological phenomenon where no matter where you are, you're always receiving less money than you want, need, or deserve. It's kind of on the anxious spectrum, but it's like a literal addiction. And like there's 12-step programs for under earning, because people do this thing. And a lot of under earners, they're like, oh my God, I'm so busy all the time and I'm grinding and grinding. Like you're not supposed to grind and hustle all the time. So we want to work smarter and harder. And think about the word laser focused and what that means. Like laser is a bunch of light, and light is like obviously like diffused all the time, but it's concentrated into this one thing that could literally pierce something and help it change form. That's how concentrated it is. And so in a short amount of time, bloop, it could change something, right? I used to be legally blind and I got laser surgery and then it was cured within 30 seconds. So if we could concentrate our energy, then we work smarter and not harder. I comment to make you angry. Wasting my time, not Tim, not in my house. Yeah. Why would I lie about? I don't know why you would lie about anything, but like I just know that every time I'm here, I'm a solution-based person. I'm very empathic. I'm very like nurturing, but I offer a lot of solutions. And all you write in the comments is, this is why I can't do this. And this is why blah, blah, blah. Like, and there's no like, oh, I see it this way. Like, I want you to tell me what's on your mind and like how I can help you. And like your blocks of like, fuck, I'm in the depths of despair. I meet a lot of people that are in the depths of fucking despair. And they like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but their willingness is there. They want to be better. But I know for a fact that some people are addicted to being miserable, to being sad. You could be addicted to anger. There's a lot of emotions that you can be addicted to. And so if you are, I'm going to call you out on it, because one, I think it's important to know like what it looks like. And for anyone that's watching this now or later, like it's a real thing. And I want you to know that, and not to get in that, because I've told people like, oh, you might be addicted to this emotion. They're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. Yes, I am. So for those of you watching that actually want to improve your life, I'm like, no, that, but you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to improve yourself. There are no learning experiences in an easy life. Yeah. I mean, we have to have challenges, and like challenges, trauma, all of the things that we think are hard, they're all subjective, right? So if you've had like for me, like if you've had a really fucking rough upbringing, like I did, someone that had a more, easy, whatever, some people call it charmed life, they'll still have challenges. But what I think is challenging and what that person thinks is challenging are different. But the point is that we face our challenges, and it's an opportunity to grow, and it's an opportunity to become a better version of ourselves and our health, wealth, relationships, career, spirituality, and often all of it, because everything's interconnected. So yeah, the thing is that we don't shy away from the challenges, and we don't stay in this lazy kind of flatlined mode, And what's interesting is like I've met people that are like, yeah, I'm average. I'm just so okay with being average. Really? Are you really? Or is it just easier to say that? And so, yes, Petros, I completely agree. Opportunities, not experiences, for sure. Tim, I don't have time for y'all. Bye. Yeah, so bye, Tim. I comment to make you angry. I'm behaving. I'm trying. You're fine. Petros, where's focus? Where focus goes, energy flows. Totally. I talk about that all the time, and I think it's like a reminder that we can never get enough reminding. Even me on a regular basis, I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, where is my energy going? Where are my thoughts? Let me bring it back," right? Because whatever we give energy to, we're literally expanding, we're literally giving more life to. So you might as well, even when it's so tempting, like, "No, but everything's going wrong, like, everything's showing up like this right now." It is because your mind has been focused there, but I promise if you can shift it and then just become a person that only thinks this way. I work with a lot of very successful, like financially successful people, like, so they're really good at what they do in their field, and they're paid really well for that. And the only thing, and but a lot of them are kind of mediocre at what they do. I also want to say that. But what they all have in common is they're like, yeah, it's not an option for me to not have this amount of money and not to like, um, to have success. Like, I'm definitely gonna have success. They just, that's the only option that exists for them. I'm not staying stagnant. I'm not blah blah blah. Like, they're just laser focused on that thing. So it works out. Petras, if people get triggered by this, there is a healing opportunity there. Yeah. Hope they find that opportunity with love. I hope so too. Um, I comment to make you angry. Falling Failing is learning. There's a big difference between trying and attempting. I mean, I think both are trying and attempting mean the same things to me, but like the thing is like to say I am going to do this. Like when people are like, "Oh, I'm going to try to do." No. I told my client this day. She's like, "I'm going to try to do." And I'm like, girl. You're doing it. Okay, you're going to get it done today." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." Because if you say you're trying, that means you're giving yourself, and you're feeding into the inner critic like, "Oh, don't do it." Like you're giving yourself an out for something that you want to do. But continuing to move towards whatever it is, that's the most important part. I lost 3 friends in high school. One took his own life, one killed, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. In high school, and one was killed by the police. Oh, for being in a stolen car. These bits they were 15 years old. Wow. One took The one who took her wasn't depressed. He wanted to free himself. Yeah, yeah, that happens sometimes where people, I mean, there's still, some mental health issues going on there. The worst thing that happened to someone is the worst thing that happened to them. To it It's how you move forward. Yes, it's how you move forward. It really is. And that's a big part of everything in life. It's like how, and it does help to have your support system, and it does help to say, okay, am I going to let this define me? Am I going to stay in this energy state forever? Or can I be sad, because all energy is energy in motion? And so I'm going to feel my sadness. It's going to go. When you grieve, the sadness is going to come back, then the acceptance, then the denial, like those emotions go back and forth all the time, and they decrease and decrease and decrease. But you're going to be sad after someone that you lost. Okay, that was the first question. And then, so the second question that I got was about OCD. And this person in the DMs, they just like listed, like, here's what I do. Isn't that weird? Like at a stoplight, I'll like tap the thing. It was just all these like OCD things. And they're like, my spouse is worried about me. Like, what should I do? Should I go on meds? No. I fervently, like adamantly, no. I don't think that I think it's I think it's going to hold you back in the long run to go on meds. It's going to really mess up your brain health and your physical health. OCD, real OCD, it's hard it's uncomfortable. I've had it and I've cured myself of it. I'm going to tell you how I did that. But it's an anxiety disorder. It's in the anxiety spectrum, and your brain wants to feel safe. Something in your nervous system is like, I am in danger, I am in danger, I am in danger. And the brain is so freaking smart that it creates this other neural pathway. It like goes around, like kind of like, roots in a tree. They'll find a way to get the water. So your brain is like, okay, I'm gonna tell you, the ego mind, I'm gonna tell you that if you knock on this 3 times, or wash your hands, or some people have religious OCD, so they think you have to pray a certain way. There's so many different forms of OCD. And so the brain will do that and be like, okay, if you do this, then you'll be safe. And so you start to believe that and it becomes an obsessive compulsive thing. But it is just a subconscious wiring that you are unsafe, and it could be from very early on where, I mean, it could be like pre-verbal. So this could have happened before like you learned to speak. That's what I mean by pre-verbal, like as a baby, and it got wired in there. But it could happen at any stage, and it can be rewired. You can literally uninstall that program called OCD and install I am safe. And so what I did, and I was having this about everything, about like I needed to check my if my door was locked this amount of times. I've had it was like different for different phases of my life until, I was like around 22 when I got rid of this, but I would do all of these different things. And so I worked with a therapist and I was just like, I can't, it's taking up too much of my life. Like it's like an addiction, right? And so I was just like, I decided to rewire my brain, and it was like my first understanding of how powerful like the brain is and how neuroscience works. And so I'm like, I'm going to tell myself I am safe. I'm going to imagine God as like two parents, like a mother and father that actually keep me safe all the time. And I just installed all of these new beliefs obsessively. I journaled about it. I talked about it out loud. I wrote it down, and I just completely committed to being safe. I am so safe. I'm safe in every area of my life, with my friendships, with my romantic relationships, with work, with money, with everything. I am safe. And I don't have to like overperform for God or this person or check every lock every time. And the feelings, all those obsessive thoughts and behaviors started to dissipate. Now, they flare up sometimes again. And I was unconsciously doing this thing that I'm going to tell you about because, we can't have these beliefs run the show. And when you really get rid of an obsessive compulsive thing or eating disorder, something that like some mental health issue, we still have to do the maintenance all the time. It's not like, oh, I went to the gym for this amount of time and now I'm cool. Like you have to do the maintenance. Okay. So I was having a moment where I let these things sneak back in, right? And I got to call myself out. I called you guys out. I was just calling Tim out. Okay. I can't be up in these streets of YouTube not calling myself out, or I'm keeping it real with you guys on every front. So this morning I have my alarm and I set it to whatever, but I always hit it before like the ringtone gets to this point. And I hit it like after the ringtone got to that point, and I immediately heard, "Oh, I'm gonna have a bad day." What? And I didn't even consciously know I was doing that until I heard, "Oh, I'm gonna have a bad day," because I didn't hit the ringtone before, and I was like, "Whoa." Then I got on a call, and the lady was like, that was running the call, she's like, "Happy Thursday," and I'm like, "Fuck, it's Thursday." And she's like, "Oh my God, I thought it was Thursday, it's Wednesday." And I was just like off, and I'm like, and my OCD stuff started to pop up, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. So let me take it back a notch, because you can see how easily it flares up, even though I teach people this all day long. So what I did was I dropped right into meditation, and I was like, I'm safe, and it doesn't matter what I do. I'm always going to have the best day, and I'm always going to be safe, like in my relationships, with finances, with work, everything. I am safe in every area of my life. And I just sat there in meditation and repeated that, and to myself in my head and then out loud. And then I also put like one hand on my heart and one hand on my abdomen, because that helps me stay anchored in the present moment. Because OCD and most mental health issues, all of them actually, and addictions, take you out of the present moment. So I had to get back in there. And so when I was answering this person's DM, I said the same thing. This just happened today, but I was just telling you guys how I like rewired and like strengthened that neural pathway again. And that wouldn't have happened if I needed to practice that more. I needed to keep practicing the whole like I am safe thing, because it wouldn't have happened. That alarm thing would never have happened. And that those intrusive thoughts would not have popped up if that neural pathway of being safe was as strong as I want it to be. So we have to just reprogram our brain. It does help. One of the best questions to ask yourself to really get to the root of it is like, okay, if this obsessive behavior or this obsessive thoughts, if they weren't there at all, how would I live my life? And if you have the awareness of what brought on the obsessive thoughts or behavior or whatever, then get to that. If it's just one event, or if it's like, "Oh, my childhood was this way." Okay, if your childhood wasn't that way, then how would you be? Then from there, can you start acting like that? Right? So, it's I know that sounds so simple, but if you could really dig into those 2 simple questions, it could open up a whole new world for you. Um Oh, and then the other thing I said was that I create my own reality because you really do. Your mind is so freaking powerful, you guys. We were talking about dissociative identity disorder on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I think I comment to make it angry. You brought it up. And it's like, it's so powerful. They've done studies about this that when people are in that have multiple personalities, it's called dissociative identity disorder now. But if they're in one personality and they're like this gay guy that test positive for HIV, and then in another personality, there's no detection of HIV or whatever. They've done it with different diseases with people that have dissociative identity disorder. Think about how crazy that is. Think about, and like, there are industries in place that do not want you to know how powerful your mind is. Think about that. Think about how amazing that is. So, circling back to this, another thing that to alleviate the OCD and get back to, I'm in control of my life, these obsessive thoughts don't control me, is like I was like, I always create my reality. My mind is so powerful that I could create anything, but I choose to create safety in my reality, and whatever I say is true. So I decide that whatever I do, I'm safe. Whatever I do. So if I hit the alarm a little bit late, then I'm still safe. I could do anything and I'm still safe. A lot of people, in the manifesting community, especially like on TikTok, I hear it a lot. Like, I get paid to exist. Well, yeah, fine. If you want to do that, then money could be that easy for you. Money, the Japanese say money is air, meaning it's circulating all the time. You need it it's coming in and out all the time. It's really not that big of a deal. Okay. Um, let me see. Oh yeah, and the other thing I was going to talk about was the personality. Let me see. Let me catch up on the comments. Okay. Petros, you can fail up by trying and learning, or fail down by not getting back up and embracing the lessons. Yeah, and like a lot of people, sometimes I meet people, these people are walking red flags when they're like, "Oh, yeah, I got my heart broken in high school once." Which is literally like, when you're 16 and your brain isn't fully developed yet. And so it's like, I can't even do love anymore because of this one. Really? Okay. So you're allowing this one thing that happened to you, heartbreak, which happens to everyone. Instead of learning from it, you're just going to allow yourself to be a complete victim to it and then use it as an excuse to not be close to anyone. Come on. That's just one example I hear a lot. But yes, exactly, Petros. Wait, where did I leave off? Okay, the worst thing. Okay. Okay, here we go. Autocorrect, no worries. I comment to make you angry. I'm sharing for sympathy. I'm not sharing for sympathy. I'm sharing so people know there's always a bigger yeah, there's always a bigger fish. But again, like, trauma and challenges are subjective. So something that could be like so major to someone is not to the other person. It just depends on how you handle it. Um it was different, but everyone has a story and could break your heart, appreciate and build from what you have. Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone that you admire, like celebrity, business person, whatever, that and especially that has like done something kind of extraordinary, they usually have a challenging past, and it they have a challenging past and they got over it in a like a tenacious way where they're like, I'm not going to let this define me and I'm going to use it as fuel. Because think about it this way, if energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only be transmuted. So what are you going to do with this energy of grief or this energy around this trauma? You can turn it into healing. I mean, that's a lot of what I've done, like, with my vocation, as I call it, because if it's not a job to me, it's, like, very, I don't know, it's, like, a very deep, like, spiritual calling to me to help you guys heal and, like, just be the best version of yourself and understand how powerful you are. Um, you have to keep climbing. Yes, definitely. Petros, interesting. I haven't really looked at my OCD from a feeling safe view, but it makes perfect sense. Yeah, because it's an anxiety. It's on the anxiety spectrum. And here's my thing about that: the OCD. I feel like there are certain industries in place that don't want you to know that it's an anxiety issue and it's an anxiety disorder, and that you can actually, without any type of medication, you can cure that. Like, and it's sad that I have to say, like, medication, like, low like that, because it's, but you don't need that, and it's gonna make it worse. It will make it worse. I mean, and you could still get off of those things if you're on them, don't worry, and be fine, and thrive and everything. You'll be uncomfortable, but you'll be okay. Okay, Petros, I wonder if I can reverse engineer this by looking at the triggers as anchors in need of being pulled up and assigned to a different meaning. Yes, exactly. Right? So we have a core belief, or what you're calling an anchor around something. So it's anchored in whatever it is. Like, let's take my alarm example. So I had this anchor that, like, if I don't hit the alarm in a certain time, it's going to be a bad day. Okay. No, I could decide that that is not true at all. And then you could tell, this is when I say talk to your inner critic, because your inner critic is the one that wants to keep you small, has the, all of these different things going on. And it's like, let's over identify with them so we can just say, oh, I have OCD or I have this, and use it as not like an excuse, but sometimes to, like, be like, oh, I can't do that. Or, because it's just as a way to hold you back and sabotage yourself. Not like, you're doing anything wrong, but it just happens, and it happens unconsciously. That's what I was saying. I had to check myself this morning. I'm like, whoa, I had this unconscious thing going on. A lot of us do. So yes, like, if you can think of it, and that's another way to, like, really empower yourself. So you're not a slave to this, because all anxiety things are fear-based. Anxiety disorders are fear-based. So OCD is definitely a fear-based thing. So if you could decide, I'm not rooting anything in fear, I'm not rooting any of my core beliefs in fear, everything is going to be rooted in a sense of true peace or love. Like, those are the highest vibrations and highest frequencies in the world, like, to exist. And like, when I tell you guys about David R. Hawkins and the spectrum of, like, frequencies, like, love and peace are at the top for that reason. So yes, it's totally possible, Petros. Comment to make you angry. Yeah, your mind can make you sick, and your mind can heal you. Your mind can heal you. Your mind can literally heal any area of your life. Literally. Your health, your wealth. You want career shifts, it can do that. Definitely your relationships. So sometimes we focus on the fact that, like, actually, not even that. Let me walk back what I was going to say. We think that our power is outside of us, and it's not, because we're told that, and because we are brainwashed to believe that we're not powerful and our minds aren't that powerful, when they can literally control and create your life. I firmly believe you can't learn without failing. Yeah. No one actually learns until they practice. Yeah. And I recommend not hanging out with people that don't get that. What happened? Okay. Petra, someone mentioned that different diseases have different frequencies. Exactly. They do. Oops. Yes, they do. So technically, dissociative identity switches, if causing frequency changes, could indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because think about, like, and people get so upset when I say this, because it's like, I didn't do this. It wasn't me. It's like, it's my fault that I got cancer. Yeah. And people have certain cancers around certain, and it's not like fault, but it's like, if you take ultimate responsibility for everything, then you could cure yourself, then you can heal yourself. And sometimes I've worked with clients that they're like, "Okay, I got this cancer diagnosis and I'm gonna take 6 months to just heal and focus on myself." Sure. That's how I meet them. And then a couple months in, they're like, "I would have never done this for myself if I hadn't had this diagnosis." So you see, and then it goes away, and now they have a balanced life, or they were able to get the courage to leave that job, and the cancer's completely subsided. But if you take ultimate responsibility for every single thing, and from a place of like, I am the creator of my reality and I could change it. And if it's a circumstance that sucks, that means there's an opportunity to look at something and heal something. And I mean, it's like I've done this with myself a million times and I'm like, ouch, I really attracted that, dick into my life. Like, what narcissistic, demonic, whatever. Like, yeah, I had to look at that. I had to look at that. And this is when it's good to work with someone one on one that could really like hold the container for you, because there is a lot of shame and guilt that comes up and a lot of anger, especially when I say like you create everything in your life. Like a lot of anger could come up. Let's see. Autocorrect is pissing me off. Don't, no worries. Let's see. Also, repetition leads to retention. Yeah. The more you tell yourself something, the more you'll believe it. Stop believing. Yes, exactly. And it creates retention because you're literally creating a new neural pathway, and then the old one can die. Like, let it die by neglect. I say that a lot. Let that old belief die by neglect. And you could also think about Petras like the anchoring. It's like, okay, I'm going to put the anchor over here now, which is rooted in peace and safety and things just going my way easily. Like I don't just struggle and all this stuff and everything. Not everything has to be so hard. Not at all. Uh, okay. Thank you. I comment to make you angry. It's a what? It's a goo Lauren the God. Wait, what does that say? It's the God Lauren I don't know what that means. Petras, definitely an anxiety thing. This was thinking in NLP speak. Yeah, oh yeah. No, I know what you meant. But I was also just saying it that way for anyone watching or watching later. If the word anchor doesn't, connect with them. So I was just using different languages. Like when I work with people, I ask them like, what's your spiritual orientation? So I could speak that language. And, how do you conceptualize things? So when I get on here, I'll say it a few different ways. So it like one of them will land, hopefully. Um, and you can call me, oh, I missed it. And you could call me Petra. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, Petra. S is my last name. Okay, got it. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Petra. Let's see. Do you know scientists found out cancer cell growth is actually regressive, not evolving? Yeah, it is fascinating. It's fascinating, and it also frustrates me that that information is suppressed. So you can do you so you get convinced or brainwashed to do all of these interventions that just cost a lot of money and that make you sicker. So yes, they are actually regressive. And by the way, at any given moment, you have a certain amount of cancer cells in your body. And, the body knows, it's trash day every day and it knows how to do things and take things out. Now, if you get some type of disease, then it's like, okay, there's something to look at, and another thing is, so women that get breast cancer, I've noticed a lot of them have relationships with their husbands where their needs aren't being met. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, I know they're cheating, but I'm not allowed to. It's like all this suppressed, like, okay, I'm just going to be, but their needs aren't getting met and they're not being nurtured. And the chest and like breast area is about nurturing. And they have such a lack of it in their life, especially from their partner, that they get sick there. And so when I work with clients that way, I'm like, can we talk about you feeling nurtured in your relationship, like with yourself or like, So that's just another example of like how disease connects with certain psychological mental health issues. No, God collective consciousness, goddess. Okay. You're gorgeous, but you're not a god. Slow down, girly. Yeah, that's why that's why I didn't know what you were saying, because I'm like, what is that? Okay. Okay, got it now. I didn't know. I guess it was a typo. Is the God collective. Okay. Yes. Yes, it is. Gotcha. No, I wasn't calling myself a god. I just didn't understand what you were typing at first. Relax. Petra says, OMG, yes, I'd die without UNA alumni access to academic papers. Yeah. This could be open access to the public, like not like $30 per paper. I know. I know. It's because they don't want you to know and they want you to be able to control you. And it's getting more difficult to control people because of the internet. But, you know, some people, everyone's at a different level of consciousness, right? And if you can just know that your mind is that powerful and there are people, like things in place that want you to not know that. In fact, I'm telling you guys, I've been reading The Master Key. Hold on. I'm trying to see when it was written. Anyway, it was written a long time ago. It's by, oh, I don't know if this is a version. Okay, anyway. The thing is called The Master Key System. And it's about like how powerful your mind is. It was written a long time ago. Like some of it's kind of antiquated, like perspective on things, but not like you can tell it was written a while ago, just because of some of the language is different. But like the whole thing is about that. Like we've been knowing this for a while, but back in the day, like yeah, kind of had to have a lot of courage to write that. Or Neville Goddard too. Like people were like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. But behind closed doors are like, hey, I used your technique and things miraculously came together out of nowhere because I channeled my mind into this outcome. And then within a short amount of time, I got this outcome. Isn't that crazy? No, it's not, because your mind is literally that powerful. Thoughts are like, and the master key uses the word like the most spiritual thing you can do is think in an intentional way, which I never heard it put that way. But like thinking is very spiritual, especially when it's intentional. And it's like you can focus your mind and your thoughts in this way. That's why God, whatever you call your higher power, gave you your mind. But your mind is not like your emotions and everything. They're not like you are in charge of them, right? So that, let me stay. Like you are in charge of it. They're not in charge of you. So like you reign in your emotions, like you are in charge of it, but you're not a slave to them. And you're not a slave to any negative thoughts. You're definitely not a slave to fear. And I feel like a lot of people are without knowing it. I was a slave to fear without knowing it. So completely understand. Hi, Big Pontiac. Peter, wasn't sure if this live was today. I know I need to get a more structured schedule, but yeah, I was either going to do Wednesday or Thursday, and then it just all happened to work out better today. So, but sometimes Thursdays work better. But I will commit to, I have you guys commit to things. I will commit to like at least announcing it, making a post, especially now that you could post on YouTube. They're making it better. Like you could post and repost things now. It's super fun on YouTube. So I will do that and announce it more. And maybe announce it on different platforms too, like in my Instagram stories. So, but made it from work, but made, wasn't sure if the live stream was today, but made it from a late work today. Any highlights should I be aware of when we were just talking about different, I was answering different questions about OCD, the power of the mind, and how you can literally we can literally heal things with our mind and what we identify with. Like in the dissociative identity disorder, one personality literally identifies as like, oh, I'm this person and I have this disease. And then literally when they switch to the other person, they're like, I'm this person and I'm like super healthy. And they literally don't have the disease. They don't test positive for the disease that they had with the other personality. That is how powerful your mind is. Okay. And this is why people like have these spontaneous like cancer remissions, is because they're switching out of that old belief and they're anchoring it somewhere else. I come in to make you angry. It's a word. Yes. For the collective consciousness, the synchronicity of all energies. Yes. Yeah, remember when we were arguing? We weren't arguing, but we were talking about on Sunday how some people, oh no, maybe it was a week ago, where they're like, yeah, the collective consciousness can't be proven. And first of all, it can be. And second of all, we have had beliefs in things that can't be proven, like atoms. Like you went to school and learned the electron and all of these things before, you know, and then you learned like, oh, atoms and electrons and whatever the smallest particle in an atom is, that I can't remember. I think it's neutron, whatever, that they can't be measured or they can't be seen, but we just know that they're there. So you would believe that, but you don't believe the collective consciousness. Like, stop. So yes, the collective consciousness is real, and people call it different things. Let's see. Lauren told a grown man to stop. Okay, I did not tell a grown man to stop crying. What I said is, I feel like if you're gonna come in here, don't be an energy vampire and like talk about the same thing and then say that's not gonna help and I'm a victim in this way and I'm a victim. I want you to tell me when you're upset. I want you to tell me what's going on and be like, fuck, I'm having a hard time with this. And then not do like, well, that doesn't work for me. Like, remember when I was saying, like with Tim, he was like, oh, I'm lonely or whatever it was, like the thing it was. And then I'm like, well, go out in public, go get a coffee and give someone a compliment. Well, I gave someone a compliment and I literally got punched in the face. Okay, I doubt that happened. But like, if you're going to constantly think like that, like you're not my people and I'm not going to like give it more energy. But if you're like, hey, I know I'm like stubborn, but I tried, one of your things this, because that's what I want you to do. I'm like, hey, let's work on this week, especially on Sundays. But if you're in here and you're just like, oh yeah, I didn't do any of that, but I just want to, like, I'm not going to give you energy in that way. Petra, yes, familiar with that book, The Master Key System. Yeah. Alan Watts, Neville Goddard. I love how Neville Goddard explains things. Joe Dispenza, more modern day. Yes, we love all those people. Hey, I have mild depression. How can I cure it? I have OCD as well. Okay, did you hear, Jordan? Hi. What I was saying about OCD? If not, go back in the beginning and circle back on this. But like the technique that, again, OCD is, the root of it is that you don't feel safe. It's rooted in fear and it's an anxiety. It's on the anxiety spectrum. So you have to dismantle that. And so start with whatever your behaviors are, because there's all these different types of OCD. Like I've had religious OCD where it's like I need to pray a certain way, or I've had to like tap on things. It's like morphed in different ways. But the thing is, write down all the behaviors and say, I don't have to do this anymore. I could not do this and still be at peace. I can do this and I'm still safe. And then you finally want to get to the point where you're not even thinking about the behaviors and you want to say, I'm always safe. I don't have to do anything extra. I'm just, and then also the other technique that I like using is the remember when. So it's like, oh my God, I remember when I had OCD and I'd have to like do all of these things and they, were so time consuming. I don't have to do that anymore. It's so nice that I'm so free and so light, and going on that, just going like on a rampage about how great your life is now that you don't have OCD, even if like you're still struggling with, even if like 2 minutes later you tap because, or whatever your mechanism is, because the more you practice that, the more that will start to dismantle, those behaviors will start to dismantle and new ones will come in place. Or you'll just like realize like, oh, I went all morning without even having to do any of that. Like it'll just go away. Like it won't be part of your reality anymore, and that is what we want. I'm turning on my air conditioner. That's why I'm looking at my phone. And so I have mild depression. So to answer your other question, Jordan, so depression is about the past. It's about there's some type of fixation, whether you're conscious or unconsciously aware of it, about the past. And your inner critic, your ego is rooted in the past. And there's some wounding there. There's something in your mind that you're anchored to, that you're hooked in, that you I don't wanna say aren't willing, I don't know if you are, right? You might be like, "I'm not letting that go," or you might unconsciously be like, "I didn't even know I was holding on to that." So, just knowing that, like, there's something about the past I'm holding on to, or I think that that disappointing thing that's happened in the past is gonna happen again in the future, and I have some core belief around something that isn't true. I'm believing a lie about something that isn't true, and I know that I'm believing a lie because it's showing up as depression. And so if you can this is another reason I recommend journaling because you could be very focused, journaling is like your body's active and like it's also been proven that you focus better when you create more new neural pathways when you journal. And so can you write down what it could be? Like if you're completely unaware, like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm fine with the past." Well, if you're depressed, there's something there. So write down everything that you think it could be or pretend like you are talking to a friend, but it's you. And it's like, okay, well, could it be this? Could it be this? And get to the bottom of it. Then ask yourself, okay, if this event hadn't happened, or if I didn't have this reaction to this event, how would my life look? Okay, can I maybe entertain the thought of living my life in that reality? And then another thing that also helps, but I do think it's important to do that underneath work too, but also gratitude, like just being grateful for just practicing it, even if you're not feeling it. I do recommend like getting into that state and really feeling it. But if you're having a day where it's like, okay, I'm breathing and I guess that's good, fine, start there. Um, and then also when I work with clients around depression, make sure, you're also not eating if there's certain foods or there's certain things that are just actually making your energy low. Are you on any medication that's altering your regular mood? Can we think about getting off of those? But from a purely psychological space, I would start with that. And then I would also stop identifying with depression and OCD. So again, that rampage of like, oh, it's so great that I don't have those things anymore. I remember when my life was that way and now it's not. And I feel so free because we all want to be free. You really don't want to be happy. I mean, yeah, we want to you be happy, but it's not like I need to be happy all the time. You want to be free all the time. And so the fact, Jordan, that you're asking me about these things means you want to be free from them. You don't want, because some people are very okay being like identifying with stuff that holds them back, but you're not. So this is a really good step. JMP, faith, believe. Petra, are you familiar with human? Yes, I am. Is Kabbalah, yeah. Highly recommend looking into it in combination with, yeah, I know. I do know human design, and like if people and the Kabbalah, one of my clients, so Kabbalah or Kabbalah, like one of my clients is like, no, she corrects me. She's like, the Kabbalah. So however you say that, Kabbalah, and Hermetic cosmology, I can't say that word, but the Hermetic practices. Yes, I'm familiar with all that. Again, like when I meet someone, a client that I'm working one-on-one with, I'm like, tell me about what is your spiritual orientation? And I think that a good therapist and a good coach should know about all of those practices. And then if not, be like, let me, or some people don't have a certain thing that they lean towards, but they just have their own like self or their own like worldview of God and all that. I want to hear about that because that's how you're going to heal. We don't heal in the mind like the ego and the inner critic want us to think, or we don't heal from some outside pill or person. We heal from a higher state of consciousness, whether you call it like energy, God, like the collective, like whatever it is, like that you identify, that's where we heal. We heal on another level. If you know about like the aura, it's like on the spirit body, like so all of these things. And I don't get like too into it in my like in my videos and stuff, I'll like mention it every once in a while. But yes, especially if like it helps you understand yourself more, I highly recommend. My favorite thing of all, like if you're really trying to understand yourself, is the Enneagram. I just think it's so accurate. Not every human design doesn't land with everyone. Then it's probably not for you. But the Enneagram, you just answer the questions in the most honest way that you can. And I have not worked with anyone that hasn't found it extraordinarily helpful. And sometimes I do executive coaching and I help people understand like different personalities and everything. And the Enneagram is just so helpful 100% of the time. I comment to make you angry. I love this girl so much. The collective consciousness can't be proven. First of all, yes, just stop. I mean, again, also, it's like people are at different phases of their journey. So I'm not trying to argue with you, but also like, don't tell me what's not true, especially in terms of that. I think that that's just not helpful. Indeed, we create this reality. Yes, Big Pontiac. Peter, ouch. I comment to make you angry. I'm sure she didn't say that. Petra, look up the quote. It's like about magic science. Okay, I'll make a note to do that later. Mike, hey Mike, what's up? The idea of continued maintenance work feels like a contradictory concept. Rewiring should be instantaneous, especially if the mind is that powerful. So why EFT tapping needs to be done habitually? Well, that's the thing. And this is true with any technique. Great question, Mike. Is that we have to have like maintenance with certain things. Yes, we can rewire things, and especially sometimes it's like we practice these techniques and it's like boom, then it connects. Or your mind is ready to accept this new reality. And so that's why I'm always telling you guys it could happen so much faster than you think, because if you know that and believe that, then it can happen. But if your ego is like, it needs to take this amount of time and it's so hard, and then it's going to take that amount of time. So you get to decide how long things take to level up, heal, be wherever you want to be. But at the same time, the mind does do this. We have an inner critic and an ego that wants to keep us small. And it gets freaking sneaky. It just does. It's like, oh, okay, well, the OCD doesn't work anymore. She's done too much work to calm that down. So I'm going to try to sneak in this way. And then once you catch it, like I was saying at the beginning of this thing, I'm like, oh, that's popping up again. And then when I do that technique, I go right back to normal. Whereas when I was first getting rid of the OCD, it took a lot longer. Now it's like, boom, okay, I'm right back there. Or if I have something like, if I get like something's kind of like turbulent in my day or something throws me off, in the past, it would have been like, oh my God, and I'm crying. And then now it's like 3 minutes and I'm recalibrated, right? So life is gonna life. Like things are gonna come up, but it's about having that, like being able to recalibrate faster. And so when you're doing these techniques on a regular basis, it's just like you strengthen that muscle. And then after a while, no, you don't need to do EFT tapping every day. I had a time where I was doing it every day and it was very helpful. But now, when you do EFT tapping, you start with the problem and you completely acknowledge it, right? And then you do all the tapping points, which are very like, these tapping points are connected to certain parts of your brain and nervous system. But now I can just say, okay, this is going on. Let me fully acknowledge it and feel into it and let it go. And that's what the book Letting Go is about. It's basically the EFT tapping thing. I mean, all these people are saying it in different ways, but it's saying it without doing the tapping points. It's not going to kill you to do it. I think it's helpful. And it makes you, when you do the tapping points, you're more in the present moment because your thoughts can get away and you're like all of a sudden spiraling off. But if you're tapping these meridian points, you're staying really present. And it's, because these problems and these mental health issues and addictions take you out of the present moment. So the thing is not like, oh my God, you have to tap every day for a certain amount of hours or blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's not that at all. It gets easier and easier. And after a while, it's like, oh no, I choose this reality. I choose to experience this. And then it just happens. But we do need these techniques at different times. And sometimes we have something super challenging come up. And then we, have to go back to a technique or we have to get extra help. That's just how life works with certain things. Okay, I comment to make you angry. I did not make anyone cry. Relax. Stop. I did not. You can go back and see. Peter, so far in the mindfulness and repatterning techniques, I would grade myself a B minus. We'll keep it up. How about you not grade yourself at all? How about you just celebrate your wins and you're like, you know what? I did this today and I did it really well. I did it to the best of my ability. And then, because we got to get rid of this like codependent, I'm going to be so hard on myself thing all the time. And then, so how about just like I did it and that means I get an A plus? Like, why not? Um, because there's nothing to judge or create. Like your inner critic is like always trying to judge something, or it's like you can't just be good at something, right, Peter? It's like your inner critic's like, oh, I have to criticize myself. And because Peter, you were talking about, I think when you first discovered me, like the first time you came to this live stream, it was like you were talking about your partner like just being so hard on you and stuff. And the thing is about getting out of a toxic relationship, once you leave, your nervous system is so used to criticism. Like your nervous system is literally kind of addicted to being judged and being mistreated. So you start doing it to yourself. It's like, oh, where's my cortisol hit? Your nervous system is just like, it just knows patterns, right? Especially your limbic system, which is connected to your heartbeat and breathing. It's like, where's my cortisol? I need more. So, okay, I'll gaslight myself, I guess. I'll judge myself. I'll beat myself up until I attract another partner that does that. That's why we have to break those patterns. You did great. I did it today. I did it every day. So it's like an immediate A plus, It's kind of like you have to treat yourself like a millennial parent would treat their kid. Like, you did great, honey. Like, kind of, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, be the most loving parent to yourself. That was a joke. Like, you don't want to do anything that's like fake or anything. But what I want you to do is just be the most loving parent that you could be to yourself. A lot of us, a lot of healing is just about reparenting yourself. Hold on. I'm going to grab a drink of water and mute myself because I don't like gulping noises. Okay. I'm back. Big Pontiac, my wife is always straightening my nightstand, but she has adjusted to my way of keeping things. Okay. I don't journal daily, but I do write down thoughts that I can use later. Okay. Remember certain points. Yeah. It's good to just empty your mind, get the thoughts out. And also, a lot of times we don't pay attention to our emotional health, so it just builds up until we get anxiety or depression or something physical. So even if you just journaled a little bit in your phone, like I feel, it could be one thing like I feel I didn't even realize like I felt overwhelmed or I felt good today. Like celebrate your wins. That could be the assignment for the rest of this week. And especially, I want to hear about it on Sunday. Tell me all the wins you celebrated. And you could also journal, just be like, okay, I celebrated these wins. I didn't, and it could be small. It could be like, okay, I exercised today. I didn't allow my intrusive thoughts to take over for 30 minutes. It was only 20 minutes. Whatever it is, like celebrate all of your wins. Petra, never believe the lies you tell yourself when you're hungry or tired, nutrition deficiencies, hormone. Yeah. Hormone imbalances can severely affect depression. Sending you much love. Yeah. So that's why I was saying to check for all those things. And when I'm sitting with someone, I go over all of that, but I'm coming from, because we're on a live and I'm not talking to you directly. So I'm just cutting to like the psychological work that I would have you start doing. And it would definitely start with that, because depression is a preoccupation, whatever that word is, with the past. And then anxiety is a preoccupation with the future. And you're not in the present moment. So we have to bring ourselves back to the present moment. Anytime you're out of the present moment, that's where a lot of stuff can come up that doesn't serve you. Peter, me and all of us are creatures of habit. That applies to emotional habits as well. Just discipline and also deciding, maybe not identify with that. Like, oh, I'm a creature of habit. Well, okay. Or it could be like, I decide who I am. I'm deciding what my reality is now. It could be that too. Like, I can change that in any moment. So, again, be very careful with what you identify with. I never tell myself I'm a creature of habit. I tell myself I can create the life that I want anytime. I tell this to my clients and my course students that you could have whatever you want. And then also you can change a belief, just like I was talking about that I did this morning. I'm like, nope, no matter what I do, I'm safe. No matter what I do, I'm safe. Okay. I used to have like this belief around because I do always like work out every day. And then, but if I didn't, the OCD stuff would throw up and I'm like, oh my God. And now my day is ruined and I'm fat and all this stuff. And it's like, no, because I didn't keep my habit. No. So I decide what's true for me. So you can say like I used to be a creature of habit but now I'm really present. And so I decide how I am and I decide how free I get to feel. Petra, about repatterning techniques, LOL. You shower repeatedly. You shower repeatedly too, right? Yeah, I've mentioned that before in other things. Like, it's I think Mike, you were on that one when I was talking about that. It's like, okay, we do it's emotional and psychological hygiene, right? So we shower, we brush our teeth, we do those things to maintain a certain amount of health. And so we do these things to just keep our mental and spiritual and emotional health. And it can be different. The only thing is like you brush your teeth basically the same every day, right? But with these techniques, like, okay, you have this big tool belt, and like a lot of my content is that it's like I just want you to have all these tools. So maybe EFT is working for me today. Maybe I don't have time to do EFT because I'm driving and I have this long drive. So I'm gonna talk to myself out loud and like give myself affirmations and just really get create a new neural pathway and get my energy just focused on that as it's just different for different. That's why I just want you to have all these tools. And so it's like, hey, I can use this one. I can use this one. Thank you. Like, James says, hi, Lauren, I believe you have been a blessing. Life is better. Oh, thank you so much. That's literally why I do this. So thank you. I'm happy to hear that. And please let me know if there's any other topics you want me to go over. Sorry, Peter, my inner critic is smart. Yeah, our inner critics are sneaky, It seems very manipulative. They are. Now it understands I'm not giving the attention in ways that I did. Yeah, and it's smart and it'll try different things. And I did a video about this recently that my inner critic, when I was really wanting to create content at first, would try to hold me back. Like I would literally get a huge headache or I'd get a fever out of nowhere or I'd feel sick and I'd have to stop. And at first I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, oh, I've fallen ill. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is my inner critic because no other like logical, I was like, I'm getting this done. I can't tell people to like, hey, here's, how you complete your goals and I'm not doing it myself. And it's like I had such a passion. I really wanted to do this. So yeah, like your inner critic will try different things and it's just about being aware of it. That's why it's so important to keep your intention on what is my intention? Okay, I want to move here. I want to have my relationships look like this. I want this mental health issue cleared up and staying focused on that. And when you start to divert, the inner critic's getting in the way. Petra, please, plateaus are just resetting points to recharge. Yeah, they can be. They can be. I comment to make you angry. Yes, Lauren, we are magnets. We attract what we put out. It's strange how that works, but it's true. I wish more people would. Like attracts like. If you think like it's like woo woo, like you like attracts like. So it's been proven in science. It's just like that's how nature works. Like attracts like. So if you're at a certain energy level, like you're going to attract certain things. And also like there's this phase of when you are in a toxic, you're healing from toxic relationships, right? They're like moving out, you're noticing the patterns, you're really doing the work. And then a toxic person will come in and a lot of my clients are like, what the hell? I've been doing all this work. And I'm like, did you respond the same way? Did you get love bombed and end up in a chaotic 6-month relationship? Or did you notice it within 1 or 2 dates and now you're done with it? See, you're refining all these things. And soon like a toxic person will come up and you're just like, bye, you don't even give them a time of day, you know? So it's just about noticing it earlier and it just drops out of your reality, right? Whereas before you were attracting all those unhealed parts of you, they were attracting those energy vampires. And like I call them parasites because they just drain you. They just like, they're parasites. They're emotional and psychological parasites. And then when you start to heal, it's like you have this like force field around you and they'll come and they'll boop and they don't last long. It's really funny. Like they just know that you're not fuckable with, you're unfuckable. Let's see, Mike. P.S. Thank you for using your time again to answer questions and provide guidance for people. You're so welcome. I really want to, create this space for you to answer your questions and, and because again, I get a lot of DMs or questions in the comments of my videos. And especially if I get the same question over and over again, I'm like, I know a lot of people need to hear this. So yeah, just coming on here in real time. And also, sometimes I get in my head about it, but sometimes I just don't have, like, I can't film as much as I want to, or I'll sit down to like talk about all of these things and then I get in my head and it takes me like forever to make a TikTok or a YouTube short. So I'm like, let me just answer all the questions. It's okay if I use filler words like I do sometimes or I mispronounce something. Yes, I've fallen ill. No, I was like, my inner critic was being very dramatic and making me feel like, oh my God, I'm so sick. And I like literally physically felt like that. Like I literally had a fever, but it was because my inner critic didn't want me to get outside of my comfort zone. So it's just good to know, like, I mean, yeah, my inner critic was really trying hard. Petra, we're dynamic and experiencing rather than being creatures of habit. Otherwise, we'd not be able to move from calm to triggered and vice versa. So the methods that will work for us. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I just said. And then just really being so aware of what you're identifying with. That's why I'm telling you, and I will repeat it. I don't care if it's annoying. I'm going to keep repeating it, that it does not need to take that long. And it can really take as long as you decide it to. How, whatever your healing journey is. And not that like you won't regress a little bit. Like sometimes progress isn't like, it's like, but you're continuously moving up. So, and I say that because some people are so hard on themselves, especially if we've attracted a toxic relationship, or people that for a myriad of reasons are very hard on her. So it's like, I just want you to know that as long as you keep the focus, you keep you doing the healing work and you keep evolving in that way, you're doing great. No need to put like a little grade yourself. You're doing the work. You're doing great. That's the hardest part. These people with personality disorders that are like parasites, they refuse, they're so afraid to look at themselves. So they don't do any of this work. Yeah. But the more we evolve and the more that's another reason I'm passionate about getting this out, because the more people can heal and start to work on themselves, we're not being like literal supply and being a host for these, energetic parasites that they can torture each other, or like they'll have to heal and they'll have to look at themselves. And I do have clients that are like high functioning narcissist or borderlines or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I know that I do that. I know that I've been diagnosed with that and I don't like that about myself. So it's like, it's fixable if you want it to be. Peter, good point. Yes, I did great. Yes, you did, Peter. I did some social activity totally unlike me. Wow. That my inner critic was holding me back when I didn't listen. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Great. So A+, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Peter, because a lot of people like that have your thing that you're healing from are like, oh my God, I did it okay. And then I ask a little bit more. And they're like, well, actually, I did this, and I've done this thing that and I got out of my, it's like, oh my God, that's A++. That's like 1,000%. Yes. So you're always doing well. You're always doing great. And I want you to, you could use some family systems, Peter, and anyone that's having this problem. Go to family systems, what's also called inner child work. And so you talk to your inner children, of course, and you tell them that they're doing great all the time. And that little girl or that little boy that was told that they were never doing anything right, you go back to them and that wounding, or if it's the teenage version or multiple versions of you, and tell them how beautiful and smart and amazing they're doing and how they're just doing wonderful. And then another part is that you can imagine and connect with your mom and dad that are like your ideal mom and dad. I'm not talking about your parents that you grew up with. I'm talking about a maternal and a paternal figure. Like I was just telling you about, like I imagined God in the form of a mom and a dad that just always take care of me and always love and support me like unconditionally. Like parents are supposed to actually unconditionally love their children, even when they fuck up, even when they, it's okay. That is life. We fuck up sometimes. We're not perfect all the time. You're not here to perform. You're here to just do the best you can and be loved and supported. So, yes. So doing more of that, and maybe incorporating more inner child and family systems, inner parent work in there. Awesome job, Peter. Good reframe. See what I mean? It doesn't need to take that long. Great reframe. Petrus, I identify as constantly. Yes, I'm constantly becoming. I'm constantly evolving. That's really all you need to identify as. Lauren, you're amazing. Slaying even. Slay girl. I don't have an inner critic. I can't really compare to that concept. I've always had a fuck it attitude. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to be weighed down by any thoughts that don't serve us. I don't know. I'm glad people are working through it. Yes. My only intention is to hold space for you guys, help you guys with techniques to move through these things. And because we don't want to be stuck or stagnant. Yeah, we can plateau sometimes, we can retreat, we could regress, but as long as we're moving forward, we want to keep that energy moving forward. And the Chinese call it chi or flow. Like it just exists in nature. It just exists. Whatever quantum physics, it's called one thing, and whatever your spiritual orientation is, it's called something else. So we want to just keep the chi moving, the energy moving in the direction that we want to go in these higher states of consciousness, which is peace and love. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions. Great questions, you guys. Thank you for giving us updates, Peter. I love all the progress that you're making. Great self-awareness and turning that around. Super proud of you. We're all sending you a lot of love. And thank you for anyone that was sharing comments, even if it's a comment or a DM. Thank you for your vulnerability and asking those questions, because if you're asking the question, it's an indication that you want to be at a different place, a higher and better place. So give yourself credit for that. That's a great place to start. We all need to stock up on that. Yeah. That fuck it mentality. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or it's just that state of peace. Good job, Peter. Big Pete. Honey Badger Pete. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Let's all encourage each other here. I love that. Yeah. And I mean, I don't refer to it as a fuck it type of thing, but I just you want to be at a state of peace where you're just truly that vibration and that energy when you're there. I mean, I remember when I first started to experience it in my life, and it was just I was so happy I could cry. It's just a better feeling than anything. So I want that for you guys. And you will get there if you're watching this now or later and you're like, no, you will. I promise you. You're so welcome, Petra. Okay, well, I'm going to get off for now. And again, I will see you guys on Sunday for Soothing Sundays. I'm already looking forward to it. Soothing Sundays is at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And my intention, the midweek one, it's between Wednesdays and Thursdays right now. But And I wanted to get more like it's always on Wednesdays. I'm shooting for like it's always on Wednesdays. I'm working with a company right now where I have to be flexible between Wednesday and Thursday. I'm doing some executive coaching for a company that we either do one or the other. And I set up the contract that way. So that's why I've been going back and forth between Wednesdays and Thursdays. But regardless, I will after Sunday, like so on Monday, I'll let you guys know and I'll post it. Right. I'll post it on different platforms, including here, because you can post things now to give you guys more of a heads up. And then also, I'll have my community launched. And then you guys can sign up for that. It'll be like a free community. And then you could get updates on that. And there'll just be more stuff in there for you guys to connect. Um, and then some of you guys, I have your number. So I'll like put you like on an email. I mean, not an, I could do email actually, and like a text message thing that when you get those text messages from things that you signed up for. I actually have a thing. I never use it, but I'll start doing that to be like, hey, I'm live now or going live tomorrow. So holding myself accountable for you guys in that way. Um, let's see. You're either predatory or prey. I don't really believe that. Or that's not my worldview. I'll say that. Uh, wait, let's see. Your homework, Peter. Find a girl with her boyfriend and head with find a girl with her boyfriend and head, but that clown. No, don't Peter, don't do that. He's kidding. My ending quote, it is your life and you're in the driver's seat. Yes, you are. And you are that powerful that you can create anything in your life. Anything you want. It doesn't need to take that long. Don't ever forget that. I almost did that, but small steps. Good. I hope you're kidding. Petra, exciting. Good luck with your. Oh yeah, I mean the community. It's just an extension of because I have my courses, and so I'm just setting up the community to just like connect everything. And then if you wanted to sign up for the courses, they're right there. You're funny, Pete. You guys are connecting. Okay, I love you guys. Have it finish the week strong, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe that means relaxing. Maybe that means starting that thing that you've been saying that you're going to start, whatever that means for you. And I will see you on Sunday. I love you guys so much.